I think it's hard for these fights of this magnitude to like live up to the expectations. You think about like Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, even though it was a shit fight, I don't know if that fight could have lived up to the hype. And this Diaz, Conor McGregor too, not only did it live up to the hype, but it even more so. You know what I'm saying? I think, like I told you, I thought Conor was going to win by decision or late round stoppage, but that third round got scary, man. It got really scary. I just think Conor, it shows what kind of champion he is. He has no business fighting at 170. It's just too much for him. And again, Nate Diaz isn't even a true 170er. He's really a guy who hangs around at 55. So just for Conor to get through that, man, it was such a beast. Such a beast.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I respect the shit out of him. I break his balls and I talk shit because, when you talk as much shit as Conor McGregor, it provokes other people to talk shit, and I'm one of those sideline shit talkers. But
oh, for sure, me too.
He fought like a fucking. I mean, he fought great, and he was tough. They were both tough. So who did you think won? Like who did you think actually won? Did you think the right decision was made?
Yeah, like you can't let the dick riders of the Diaz brothers who, everyone was cheering for the Diaz, for Nate Diaz, and they cheer for the Diaz brothers in general because they're always the underdog. Everyone feels like they get shafted all the time. Don't get twisted. Nate made $2 million plus on this fight. So those days of the underdog getting shafted, it just, no matter how this fight went down, if it went to decision, everyone automatically throws up he got screwed. That's what happens with the Diaz brothers. No, man, if you just take all your bias out and score this fight, which I try to do, because I really do. I love both guys. I'm glad Diaz is doing his thing. I'm glad Conor's doing his thing. I love both guys. So I watched it again this morning. You're batshit crazy, especially with the new criteria of judging. If that first round where you get sat down twice isn't a 10-8, so you have Conor the first round. At the very worst case, it's 10-9, but it's probably a 10-8, easily 10-8. So you have a 10-8 first round. You have a 10-9 second round for Conor. Third round, Nate definitely wins. Now, was it 10-8? I'd have to see what kind of scoring they're doing with the judges, but a 10-9 for Nate because it wasn't that dominant. But you have 10-9 for Nate. Conor wins the fourth and loses the fifth, so then you have a 3-2 decision. I didn't even think it was, and that's not even really debatable. Like, again, people crying wolf and saying, "Oh, this is here we go again. Diaz getting screwed." Nah, man, you just can't pull that card every time these guys lose. You just can't.
Yeah, I agree. I think Conor won the fight. I think the kicks. I don't know how they scored. Like when all those kicks, do they score those as points?
They count them as far as overall damage, control of the fight, stuff like that. But remember, and this is something else that's pretty, it makes the win even more impressive for Conor is in that first round, he thought he broke his foot kicking Nate Diaz's leg because he's not a kicker.
Right.
He's not a true, that's not his thing. But the blueprint to take out Nate Diaz is to kick his leg. So you can see he made changes in camp. He started doing that, but that's not his forte, man. It showed because, he's like, damn, my shin hurts. So in the second, third round, especially the third, when he wasn't moving, I made a comment on Twitter that blew up. I said, damn, man, you spent 6 figures on camp and you're gassed after 2? Yeah, he was gassed and he was getting, he was taking shots to the face, but really he said his leg, his leg's going to move his leg. He's not used to kicking that much.
And do you think, what about this whole thing? Because I think it's retarded. That they're like, well, Diaz is bleeding, and the Diaz fans were like, well, Conor was walking away. First of all, I think that Nate Diaz, he bleeds when he brushes his teeth. Like, making Nate Diaz bleed is not an accomplishment. Like, he's just one of those guys. He's gonna bleed, win, lose, or draw. And obviously, he was bleeding a lot.
You're 100% correct. Like, it's any fan that says, "Oh, look at the blood," they're not knowledgeable on the sport at all because the way that works is. Nate Diaz has so much more experience than Conor. It's not even funny. He's been in the UFC since he was 21, and his fighting style. So his face builds up. He's built up a lot of scar tissue. He's a bleeder. He's a cutter. That's what he's known for. So he builds up the scar tissue. So the skin around his eyes and forehead is very thin from all the scar tissue.
Right.
So what might not cut Conor is going to cut the shit out of Nate Diaz.
Right.
So you can't. You just can't play that card. You just can't.